Tonight, with the winner collecting £100,000. A top-class lineup on the table this afternoon and matched by the lineup in the studio. Stephen Hendry, Alan McManus and Neil Folds alongside me. Stephen, first of all, tell us about the quality of this tournament and the two guys that have made it here. You can never get to the final and not deserve it.
No, both players have. You would argue that Ali Carter's been a consistently better player. Judd Trump was lucky to get over the line in his first match. Second match, again, didn't play his best. Was awesome against Selby, but again last night struggled a little bit. Carter's been through the tournament probably consistently the better player. Judd
Trump has progressed and got better as the tournament's gone on, Alan.
He has. He's had a couple of little scares along the way, you know, notably against Stuart Carrington, but. The good thing is for him, as we're going to hear, he's come through them well, and you know, he's pretty much the finished article.
When Ronnie O'Sullivan gets knocked out in the first round of any tournament, Neil, a lot of people feel, oh, the interest has dissipated. But the quality of snooker since his departure suggests that some players have risen to the occasion.
Yes, and with Judd Trump, we have got a great entertainer, someone that people want to come and see. He's much more disciplined player now. You know, he's got a brother with him. He's doing what you've got to do at this game. He's living and breathing snooker all the time. It's the only way to be successful. He's learnt that, and as a consequence now, you know, he looks to be the real deal.
OK, well, both players are looking forward to today's final, and they have been chatting to Phil Yates.
Stuart Carrington, you could have lost that one. There were quite a few mistakes against Tom Ford, and obviously in the semi-final as well, it was on a knife edge. Do you think 2 or 3 years ago you'd be in the final?
No way. I think I would have definitely probably lost one of the first 2 games. And if not them, I definitely would have lost the semi-final. I think the ball run didn't really go my way. A couple of times I was a little bit unlucky, but I was just trying to dig in there as much as I possibly could and just try and stay with him and just hope for that chance. I think, yeah, maybe when I get to the semi-final, I kind of put a little bit too much pressure on myself to sort of get to that final, and it kind of comes out in how I do. So it's probably something I still need to work on, still need to learn to relax. It's just that little bit more and not sort of get too ahead of myself.
And if you win the final, it'll be the first time, I believe, that you've gone over £500,000 in total prize money for a season. It's been a wonderful season so far.
Yeah, I think it has been a good season so far. I think it'll also be the first time I've ever won 3 events in a season. So I think obviously to do that with so much time left would be amazing. I think trophies are sort of something that I really look forward to getting nowadays, and really appreciate every time I'm in the final, and especially after sort of a nervy game against Barry, I'm just going to really try and go out and enjoy it.
Ali, you must be really excited back in a big final again.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to a final. You know, I've been working hard behind the scenes on my game, so it's great to be here. It's a great venue, and really looking forward to today. Delighted to be playing Judd. He's the man to beat now, really. You know, he's had a couple of great victories over Ronnie in the last couple of finals, so it's going to be a tough day today. I'm probably the underdog, of course I am, but you know, I'm happy to be the underdog, and I'm just looking forward to going out there and doing what I do.
Well, let's deal with Ali Carter's status as the underdog. When he came into the studio, he reiterated what he's just said there. He doesn't mind being the underdog. He kind of relishes it, Stephen.
Yeah, he definitely does. I'd be interested to see how he plays today, because if he plays the way he played in the semi-final, and he was quite aggressive, does he choose to play the man today, or just play his own game and hope that's good enough? I hope he doesn't try and tighten up and be too defensive today.
Alan, when he played those first 4 frames against Zhao Guodong, admittedly his opponent seemed to struggle with the occasion, but he looked super.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, it's difficult to follow up a performance like that with another one. Watch his head here, watch how still he keeps his head. He's under pressure. This is early on in the match. He's given Zhao a couple of chances. The head stays down all the way, so that tells you he's in real confident mood. Just on another side note, actually, as we see this, one of the shots of the week from Carter, he's in a position now where he's in the Players' Championship. Looking further down the line in the Tour Championship, he's 57,000 points behind Dave Gilbert. There's 60,000 at stake, so winning today would put him in that. It'd put him in the Champion of Champions. A lot at stake today for Carter.
And also it would get him with a really good chance of getting his top 16 place back, which would mean the world to him, not having to qualify. You know, he is playing well, and he has beaten Judd Trump in the World Championships. OK, it was 2012, you might think that's a long time ago, but Judd had been in the final the year before. He was a good player then, you know, so he can beat him in a long match.
He can. In the head-to-heads, I think they've met 6 times, and at the moment he leads Judd Trump by 4 wins to 2. But the one thing about Judd Trump, when you look at his record for his age in comparison to Ali Carter, there's 10 years difference. He's 10 years younger. He is trying to win his 10th ranking title. Ali Carter is in just his 9th ranking final. I guess that sort of gives you an idea of the achievements of both players over a shortish period of time between the two of them.
Yeah, very much. I think Judd's got that X factor, hasn't he? He's got that. He's a big occasion player. Ali Carter's obviously well documented, lots of problems off the table which he's dealt with. But yeah, Judd Trump likes a big occasion. And what Judd Trump is today, he tends to save his best snooker for the final. He's a brilliant final player. He loves the big occasion.
And that's proven by that record. And Alan, the thing that you like a lot about Judd Trump's play over the last couple of years is the fact that he's added the safety dimension and a high-quality safety dimension to the attacking play.
Yes, very much so. And he's going to need that today, you know, against Carter. We think back to Ali last World Championship taking down Ronnie. So he can be a big occasion player when he wants to be. Ali's always up for the fight. But crucially, he's got the form to take into that today. If he stays with Judd early on, then, you know, we could be in for a little surprise.
What are the areas that in Judd's game, Neil, that you think Ali might be able to exploit today?
Well, I think Judd did make the point that Ali's a very good safety player, and that's got to be, he's got to send him to that bolt cushion and make him wear the carpet out down that end of the table. That's the way he's going to do it, because otherwise you're going to struggle. But of course, when you do get the chances, you have to punish. And you know, Ali, we saw the other night, he can score big, but you know, he's a very fine match player. But my worry would be that can he hold Trump? You know, the scoring power that he possesses. That'd be my concern today.
Stephen, you will know about this obviously with your record, but the way Judd is walking around the table and the way he's carrying himself at the moment with his good form, he seems to be strutting with an air of confidence, not arrogance, confidence.
Yep, he's got that aura about him round the table now. He's got that that little bit X factor, hard to explain, but he's starting to get that fear factor of his opponents. The reason he came through those sticky matches this week as well, opponents are going to start to, the more he's in finals, semi-finals, opponents are going to be frightened to go over the line against him. So he's starting to get that, and that's what he needs to be, the top player.
All right, let's get predictions. Let's start down the line. Neil?
I feel that Trump will win about 10-5, something like that. You know, I think he's too powerful a scorer.
Okay, Alan.
Very similar to Neil's thoughts.
Yep, I'm with Neil. I think how can you hold Judd for like a best of 19? It's very difficult.
Okay, that's the challenge, of course, for Ali Carter. Can he do it? Well, don't go anywhere. We're just moments away from of their 6 meetings. Clive Everton and Neil Foles will be guiding us through the opening 4 frames. But first, it's over to our MC, Phil Seymour.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the Coral World Grand Prix final here at the Centaur at Cheltenham Racecourse. It's the best of 19 frames and this crowd are ready for action, so let's welcome the players. We begin with a 2-time Crucible finalist and 4-time ranking event winner, the captain, Ali Carter! His opponent, a winner of 9 ranking events, already victorious this season in the Northern Ireland Open and the Masters, the ace in the pack, Judd Trump.
Today, Judd Trump hopes to win his 3rd major title of the season, following his triumphs in the Northern Ireland Open and the Masters. Ali Carter is hoping to win his first title for 3 years to make up the total of 5 in all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame, Judd Trump to break.
Good break-off shot from Trump. Defensive reply from Carter.
Yes, and the point I was making earlier that Ali Carter, we know he's got to score because that's the only way to win any match, but he's got to keep Judd Trump away from getting his hand on the table, getting shots at mid-range where he's absolutely lethal. It's going to be a tough task for him. But of course he's beaten him before. He's beaten him in the World Championships, albeit last frame 2012. It was the year after Judd Trump made the final, so he can really dig in and beat top class opponents as he did to Ronnie O'Sullivan at the Crucible, the last World Championships, beating him for the first time ever. He's got the game to do it.
Apart from his scoring power, Ali Carter is a fine tactician, and that was a very strong ingredient in his win over Ronnie O'Sullivan at the Crucible last spring.
Wow. Yeah, what a fabulous pot that was. And it's so difficult to get to screw that in and finish this side of the bulk line. Not only the pot, timing has got to be absolutely perfect. Now it's played on the red to the left of the black, and it's a key red because it opens up the black end of the table.
Six.
Judd Trump's based in Romford, but he'll always be a Bristol boy at heart, and
13.
Cheltenham isn't that far from Bristol, so he'll be getting some local support
14.
as well as from his regular fans who support him in lots of places on the circuit.
Yes, didn't have a great angle there actually, but was able to pot it and throw the cue ball wide and get up for the red.
21. $22.
As a left-hander, playing on that red on the left of the table is not a problem.
29. $30.
Trump made a very sluggish start against Barry Hawkins in last evening's semi-final and never got his nose in front until he made a 95 break to seize the deciding 11th frame. But he's really up for this, highly
37.
focused right from the off.
Yes, he's played on that middle red. That's the reason he never went into the bunch, because it goes comfortably.
38.
Now he can do whatever he likes here. He can get into the bunch, although those 5 reds, it's quite difficult to hit those full on. The red to the left is slightly in the way, where the cue ball will kind of arc from left to right. So it's not the easiest split, this, actually, if he decides to play it. Yeah. Quite sensibly played. I think he knew that there was an issue there. Managed to move one red near a pocket. But in potting this red, I'm not sure how he can control the cue ball to be on a colour. A little bit of guesswork in this, where the balls finish.
.44.
Well, he didn't expect to cannon the bunch like that. Do you think he was playing up for blue there, Neil, or...?
I don't think he was sure what was going to happen. As
Yellow
I said,
ball.
I think it was guesswork. He might have wanted to hit it a bit harder. And of course, then he could have, maybe the cue ball would have come out into open play. Good start all the same, I think. Just that he ran out of position. The first red he knocked in there was exceptional, I feel.
Yes, 44 from his first chance. Good start. Carter wide of the mark with his attempted long pot, but has struggled away to Borg.
As of this year, it seems to be a new rule that you can play on the match table on the day of a match. And Judd Trump always takes that offer up. Could be that he did so during the Masters, and maybe it's now almost a superstition. He'll always have a few shots on the main table. Ali Carter chose not to, like so many other players, turned down that chance.
A safety shot which isn't safe.
That's well played, very well played. He's been getting on the blue ever so well. It sounds a simple thing, but it makes all the difference in the world if you can keep finishing high on the blue. Once again, still not perfect.
6. .7.
That was a pretty good shot with such awkward bridging.
Yes, what does he do here? Does he keep a colour safe, or does he just tickle in? I wonder what he would do. He's obviously very keen, youngster. Good to see. Of course, the story goes that
7.
Judd Trump turned up at a tournament to watch Ronnie O'Sullivan. I think he was 8 years of age. So that's where champions begin their route to the top. Coming and watching, soaking up the atmosphere.
good pot, but got the second part of that shot to nothing absolutely right as well in terms of length.
Yes, if he plays any sort of a roll-up, it's really difficult. I wonder if he'll consider even going for this. It's a difficult shot to even contemplate, but sometimes when you're behind, you think the gamble is worth taking. He wouldn't play this shot if he was 50 in front, put it that way. That is such a good shot, I can't tell you.
Two good shots to start this contribution.
Yes, of course, now you see the benefit of Judd Trump putting the yellow safe a couple of shots back, because really that is the only safe ball on the table.
Eight.
It's another well-played shot, actually.
Nine.
Carter's already done enough this week to assure himself of competing in the Players' Championship at Preston on March 4th to 10th. And if he wins, he will have every chance of being in the 8-man field for the Tour Championship
16.
Atlanta a few weeks later. But in the here and now, he's missed that positional cannon on the pink, which would have left him choice of two easy reds.
Thank you. Ali Carter, 16.
Yes, well, that's a mistake, all right, because even though it won't be an easy shot here with his hand on the cushion rail, Judd has got a half a chance to pop this red. Cue ball up the table if he wants it to.
He was bridging across the cushion, so that was a bit awkward. But look where the cue ball is. Safe as houses.
Yes, he's found his range on the safety. Ali's played a lot of shots from over there.
unlucky outcome to leave the cutback red.
As you do worry though, playing the double, that you're going to hit the far jaw, because it can always do that. You know, bring the red down the same end as the cue ball. If you're going to miss it, you have to miss it to the near jaw. That's not to miss it at all, of course.
One.
And just this red secures the frame, barring snookers.
6.
Pretty solid opening frame from Trump.
10.
No serious mistakes. Unlike the first couple of frames last evening in the semi-final.
Thank you. 11.
Did well to make the cannon, but it's still a good pot if he's going to sink the yellow.
70.
No pressure on it, of course, with the frame well and truly decided.
Judd Trump, 17. And a first frame.
So, Judd Trump has won the opening frame. Of £100,000. £40,000 will go to the runner-up.
Once again, good cue ball. The Reds, I guess, are slightly uncomfortably close to the left corner, but it would be difficult to get position on the black, and of course the red is not easy by any means. He might be able to pot it and finish low on the black. Looking at the kind of place he could land. I think he went for that, but he got absolutely nowhere near it. Quite unusually for Trump.
The two reds in the baulk half of the table are limiting the range of safety shots that Trump could play.
Well, I guess he felt that it was worth the effort. Don't know if he's left anything. The yellow's covering the red up the table. Sometimes you can play shots where you leave very little, but Ali might just be on something here. Judd knows that perhaps that red to the left of the black is available. Not an easy starter. Not sure whether Judd knew what to do there, actually. He thought that going for one was one solution, as opposed to finding a safety shot. Tough shot, this. Felt there was a little bit extra on it because clearly he was going to leave something. Having potted a good red, I suppose he was unlucky to finish there.
One. Five. Six.
Well, there's no dress code for spectators. If there was, he might have infringed it, but there we are, each to his own.
Eleven. Well,
he's always going to have a touch of left-hand side on that, which was going to come back down the table. But he has kind of slightly overrun it. This is not easy, bridging over quite a few of the reds. Certainly got a short bridge. Very difficult man to keep out for long periods. I know he was given a chance here, but even when he can run out of position, he seems to find ways
19.
of keeping breaks going, especially recently.
20.
He's a great shot maker, and the crowds love that. They can acknowledge the quality of a player who drops or seems to drop perfectly on every ball, but they like the drama of a player constantly recovering
27.
position with a good pot.
Well, he might have to do that again. I don't know if he played beyond that red on the one to the right, what? But he finished in the one place where nothing's easy at all.
Judd Trump, 27.
After a surprising loss of position. Primarily a safety shot. Would have been a huge bonus if the red had gone in at that unlikely angle.
Well, this two-ball plant, it's heading up naturally, I think, towards that red down the table. Cue ball will be in behind the black, I would say, whatever he tries here. He's shifted the other red away. It's quite a good shot. You do get frames like this where all the safety is at this end of the table rather than the other. Usually it means that when a mistake is made, there's invariably a very good chance that it's left. Because the reds are just spread out all over the place. And what about that for a shot? Now that is advantage to Ali Carter in that exchange for sure.
Yes, and he had to make jolly sure to get the cue ball behind the black, because he could so easily have left a red near a pocket in opening that bunch. Well, sorted that safety out very well. Not everybody would have thought of it.
No, you're right, Clive. It's a good shot. He probably went with the cross double. That would have been handy had that gone in. But Ali was quick to acknowledge the cue ball was played with perfect pace.
Very good shot from tight on the rail. Useful cannon on the pink.
Well, they've both played some very good shots in the last few minutes. Pots and safety shots. And you feel this is the way that Ali Carter will get himself into the match. Slightly take the sting out of it with Trump looking to pot almost everything, make him think. Not saying that that's guaranteed to succeed, because I thought that Judd Trump completely outmaneuvered Mark Selby the other day. Not many people do that.
Well, not many people outmaneuver Ronnie O'Sullivan, but Ali Carter did that in the World Championship last spring to reach the quarterfinals. One more red
14.
developed.
$19. $20.
Bounced the cue ball further off the cushion than he intended.
Yes, it's almost like he didn't quite stun it enough. Maybe he hit a bit higher on that cue ball, and he didn't really get the work on the ball to stop it in time. That was always going to be a difficult shot with pace.
Ali Carter 26.
He's back in the frame. Balls have got a little awkward as well. So Trump had a handy advantage, which is now gone. There are always going to be frames like this one, where it's not all about someone getting in and winning in one visit. As I said, it's so difficult to keep out for any period of time.
That was a well-judged double. But still plenty of problems up ahead in terms of compiling a substantial, let alone a winning break. That was well played. He develops the red to a potable position with a red on the black spot, already potable.
Yes, it's got a bit of extra pressure on it, but it was a delightful shot the previous, like you say. So was that. It was very well cued.
I think he'll want to pot the easy red in such a way that he can develop the one next to it. Still would be pretty remarkable if he won the frame at this visit.
If he does play across there, he's just got to be careful that he doesn't snooker himself behind the blue when it's respotted on that red. He's playing to pot it and can the other red out. Yes, he's played it well. He's done fine
12.
there. He's gone just beyond it. He might be able to shift that red, as Clive was saying. Well, certainly a good cue ball,
13.
and not too bad on the red.
There was a 50 break that Trump made last evening to win
80.
a frame where the cue ball was flying about all over the table and Trump just kept potting.
Thank you. 19.
Well, he'll need both reds. Bed up the table, you know, being a
25.
left-hander, it isn't a natural to get in behind it. I wonder what his plan will be. Maybe to shift it, depending on how he gets on his next colour.
Thank you.
Could have done with coming back another couple of inches.
26.
Yes, you might still be able to play to move the red. It'll take some doing. And it might be that it's not the most natural angle. You might have to play it slowly. Or slower. Just to make sure he moves it. You mustn't miss the pot, that's the first thing. Thinking about a couple of things here. Playing it in a different way. Interesting. I think he felt that he hadn't gone far enough there, Clive, as you said. Question of getting first
32.
good safety shot. The frame is still winnable, though, for Ali Carter.
Foul. Judd Trump, 32.
Is this going to be a free
Ali
ball?
Carter, 4.
It certainly
Free ball.
is. Carter can't hit both edges of the remaining red.
Yeah, he might get the green out here. I think that's the first thing he should be looking to do. Pot the brown, counting as a red. remove the green, and then the frame is even more open. That was
Bramble.
a big mistake, I thought, from Trump to going off. Nah, you won't be too happy about that.
Well,
So the green remains in a safe position.
I mean, you could pop this and get him in a pretty nasty snooker on the last red if you can get the cue ball across to the right. Instead, he's played on it. Judd Trump said last night that he thought the table was playing as tight as anything he's played on all season, so none of these sort of shots down the cushion are easy.
eight.
Now, what sort of angle has he got on the yellow? Not the best
15.
one to develop the green.
Yeah, I think it's virtually non-existent, actually. So I think if he's going to keep the break going, it could be by virtue of a double, providing the blue's not in the way, or possibly to get the first telling safety shot in on the green.
Thank you. 17.
What a good shot. A very good shot. He's in attacking mode this afternoon. There's just enough room to get past the blue there.
Twenty-four.
Blue, pink and black still needed.
29.
It's been a very good break, actually. Trump made the mistake, the in-off, which left the free ball. But he's taken them very well. Especially when he never got the green in play.
35.
This has been impressive.
And with that fine 42 clearance, Ali Carter wins the frame on the black and levels the match at 1-all. Perfectly adequate break-off shot, but he hasn't got it directly behind the yellow this time. Carter was nervous of clipping that thin and leaving a possible pot to right corner from distance. Olivier Martial on his haunches in case he has to replace the cue ball and maybe other balls. He was so close to the nearest red there that he couldn't get the cue ball into baulk.
Well, it's got to be played well, this, bridging over the brown. Didn't want to hit the pack very hard and push a red out.
High quality safety on both sides. Maybe the nearest red goes to far corner. Well, if it did, he didn't like it. That's not what Trump intended. He intended to leave the cue ball on the ball cushion, but it's an agreeable bonus for him.
Yes, and also it's not so easy to just hide up against a red here. The red's in the little bunch of half a dozen, hitting the left side of those. No help, just leaves an easy one in doing so. If you could hit a red, I'd say it would be the bottom red, the one on, up against the bottom cushion below the black spot, but how on earth does he get to that one? Also, it's on the cushion, not just off it, so it's a smaller target.
A minute's thinking time for this escape. It's not a problem to hit a red, but how does he leave everything safe?
Well, you know you're in trouble when you're playing almost away from the reds with your first cushion that you're trying to hit. There's going to be a 4 cushion escape. Well, he hit it. Whether he played to hit that one, I don't know. If so, it's quite a remarkable shot.
What an escape.
If that's the red he tried to hit, that is as good as you'll ever see, I think, out of a snooker. And he didn't leave it touching either. That's even better. That would be some minor thing that would have not helped him.
this opening safety duel. It's been going 7 minutes. No ball potted yet in this third frame.
There's an example of Trump's safety. This time he did mean to get in there. It's a great shot. He's got most things in his game now, including safety and tactical skill, which he never used to have. I guess you build it up over a career. Experience is something you can't buy, but you can acquire.
Trump was well aware that with green and brown so close together, there was a good chance of covering most reds. Well, it looked all right to start with, but a red has been prodded into a potable position to right middle.
I'm pretty sure that was a kick, which took all the pace out of the cue ball. Didn't sound right anyhow.
It was still a tough shot though. Carter attempting to take advantage of the juxtaposition with green and brown. Well, that was one of the few balls that Trump could hit, maybe the only one. He was forced to go for the pot, screwing back in case he missed it. But now that he's got it, yellow to middle could give him access to a break. Rather interesting that he turned the yellow down. Maybe the cue ball was a little bit too near the walk pocket for comfort.
Foul on the miss. Judd Trump 4.
Well, Judd will certainly have a look here at the red to the right corner. Doesn't have to have it put back if he maybe feels that couldn't really cue it, the red with his bridge hand.
Thank you.
Same sort of a shot, but hopefully from Ali Carter's point of view, playing it better. A glance. Players invariably get it the second time, or if need be the third. Learn the shot in the end. This time I can't imagine it's not going to go back. But the minor adjustment that he's got to make should take the cue ball up the table. Any worry he's got here, where the pink is, if he hits this thin, this red, he could hit the pink full on the way back. It could happen. He avoided that. Played it okay.
Helpful kiss off the brown for Carter. Well, made contact, but much too thickly.
One.
I think the tempo of the match has started to favour Ali Carter a little bit. They took 10 minutes to pot their first ball in this frame. I'm not saying he needs it to be like that, but I think he's more adept at a long safety battle than Judd Trump. More likely to keep his rhythm. Judd likes to be on the attack all the time. He's had few chances to really attack, because Ali Carter's given him very little to go at. Now he's got to do the other part of it. And now the chance has arrived, he's got to score.
Well, hadn't got a huge margin of error to get on his colour, not on high value one anyway.
No, if he plays the green, he might have forced it in, and we saw him miss one that he hit quite hard earlier on. I think he was up into that same pocket. Though he's not really interested in this one.
Blue ball.
Interesting that he never went for a pot there. He just finished in an awkward
Ali Carter,
spot.
13.
Only a break of 13, but all he's doing is keeping Judd Trump quiet, which is tough to do, as I was saying, but he seems to be managing it.
how much of this treatment would seriously disrupt Trump's rhythm. Forced into a mistake there.
One.
So can Carter profitably change gear and make a sizable break? The balls are not ideally set for one. Didn't expect you to miss that though.
No, he's finished awkwardly. I suppose he's always got the red that is now blocked by the black that he could have gone for. This plant, I mean, when you see it from that angle, it looks an easy shot, but there's enough distance between the two reds. They were not locked together. It would be a near certainty. As you can see, he's got to ensure he hits the first one directly onto the second one. They're never going to be an easy shot, however good you are.
So a better chance for Carter this time. The reds spread out more of them in possible positions.
Sure. Thank you.
Not so good, unless he's just nudged that red just hard enough to take one to the left corner.
8.
Which he has.
Nine. Sixteen. Thank you.
So, reds up the table, I think, the order of the day
17.
to continue this break. It's been a highly tactical frame.
24. 25.
We've had an hour's play and only 2.5 frames have been completed, which is not because the standard has been poor, but because the quality of tactical play has been so high.
$29. 30. 32.
Yeah, it's a bit straight. That's the concern. He can't get out towards the black in any way.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, winning the frame at this visit is still not going to be
33.
easy. There's a lead of 38. Need it's black and a red and a colour I value to win the frame, barring snookers.
Not only
40.
has his tactical play been very good, but he hasn't missed many pots.
Now it's a question of does he want to play the double this time? He frees a red in doing so. It's not a certainty. Of course, if it goes in, he gets on the black, it's frame over. That was always the concern, mentioned it earlier, you hit the far part of the pocket and it comes back towards the object ball, cue ball rather.
But this time it's run safe.
Thank you, Ali.
Carter allowing the referee to have a good look in case he has to replace the cue ball. Although there was never much chance of that as he was attempting the pot, albeit with safety also in mind if it didn't go in. And black is frame ball barring snookers.
Well, it's been an extremely hard fought frame, isn't it? And one that Carter has, in the main, dominated.
8.
Only a break of 40, but the balls are awkward at one point. Making sure of the red,
No.
why wouldn't you? I think Judd Trump will be happy not to come back to the table and start the frame before the mid-session interval. he's going to win the match, he's going to have to win some frames like this, not all of them, of course.
16.
These kind of frames where you have to really graft for everything. Can make the difference between the two players, I suppose. Early stages, but Carter's done well.
Ali Carter 16 and the frame.
Carter won the second frame with a 42 period.
Thank you, Ali.
In which the
Thank
tactical
you, frame
play
4.
has played a
Ali
huge
Carter
part.
to
Carter resumes 2-1 ahead. Trump as yet has not been able to get his scoring power into play. Perfectly played break off from Carter. So many frames start like this. The second shot being containing safety, red towards ball, cue ball to black cushion.
Well, it's fabulous part again. The amount of those he knocks in, the high percentages of shots of that kind, quite something. Absolutely drilled it in. Straight away he knew he might hit the jaw of the middle pocket. Having failed to do so, he might have been on the red above the black. Also got another one, but it's high risk, having been bogged down for the previous frame, to knock in two spectacular pots to this right corner. Takes some doing. Great pot again. Striving for position there also, and not on a colour easily. Now, pink will go, but it's thin, and he's crashing into reds. Not impossible that he could be on one, but he's got to make sure of the pot. This break has been hard work. His next shot's not easy either.
12.
Not from tight on the rail.
Foul.
So
Judd Trump 12.
as
Ali
good as
Carter
Trump
4.
is, playing from tight on the cushion. He overcut that one.
Yes, even he just can't keep on potting really hard balls. In the end, something, I guess, has to give.
And the unforeseeable in-off has given Carter a possibility from distance.
Well, is his red going to get in the way? I don't think so. I think Trump can still get to the right-hand red. That'll be a relief to him that Carter's missed one. can't see anyone better at taking a ball, a cue ball in and out of bulk. He does it all the time and hardly ever hits a bulk colour. Whichever the shot, it's always there, well controlled. I feel that he needs this frame. I know it's early in a best of 19, but for the most part, Carter has slightly outmaneuvered him, I think. Taking the wind out of his sails a little bit, but some good tactical play.
Seven.
The mid-session interval comes up after this fourth frame. 9 frames in all to be played this afternoon. The remaining 10 if he goes the distance this evening.
$14. 15.
I don't think that's been any great help.
22.
I think it's very close to being a push shot, and if you got the rest out, the long tackle, I don't know how he could avoid pushing it, because you wouldn't be in a very good position to judge the distance you're away. Anything could happen here. I tell you, there is a gap there. So really jab down on the red if he's playing it. This might have more future in it, this one he's looking at. Settle for that, I think.
Some more awkward bridging coming up.
Spider.
Well, it was always going to be a natural to drop onto the black, but I suppose you can always miss them with all the complicated equipment out there, the extension on the cue and the spider. It's got to give it a lot of care and attention. From that angle, it looks more difficult than from the other one. That's a very good shot. If he played in that gap, I think he must have. It's well controlled, gets him out of
38.
An awkward little spot there. A choice of reds. It's a bit of a stretch for a left-hander, that's the problem.
Thank you. 39.
because of the difficulties which have cropped up in this break. There have been
44.
a few pauses in it, but Trump has managed to stay at the table,
45.
and this is already his highest break of the match.
Well, playing in that area, he may not be on the red he wanted to, but he's got other options. He's not bad at all.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think frame 3 sort of just
53.
put him on the back foot a little bit, the way the frame went, but you know, he's pretty good now. His temperament's sound, his game is in good shape. He's actually come back here with a well-played frame. Did miss one ball early, but he's taken these nicely, as Clive said.
58.
They weren't particularly easy. Now he's gone past the
59.
point of no return. So we're going to head into the mid-session interval all square. I suspect neither player could have any qualms about that.
64. 65.
This could even be a century.
71. 72.
'He's made 55 of them this season, more than
79.
anyone else.
80.
'Perfectly judged positional cannon.
Almost played it too well and knocked the red in, which instead of over. Great shot, wasn't it?
Thank you. 88. 93. 95.
Trump has been kept out for long periods, but he's showing with this effort that he can still do it if he gets in.
98. 107. 113.
'And with that break of 113...
We said about their playing styles.
Yeah, it's some scrappy stuff. Obviously, that century in the fourth frame was Judd getting back to normal service resumed.
Yeah.
But the first three were quite edgy, quite tactical. Judd started to dominate until he made somewhat of a schoolboy error in the second frame to let Carter back in.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that in just a second, Alan, because one of the things we've spoken about was the improved safety play from Judd, but it just lacked at a crucial moment.
Yes, it did on this occasion here. We're going to kick off in frame 2. He's made a beautiful little break of 32 to get in this position, and it was a brilliant break. The reds were all welded to cushions. He should really know the dangers of topping that, and it then sort of spins its way up the cushion. Of course, he leaves a free ball, but the clearance that Ali Carter makes is from the top drawer.
Absolutely. You look at the position that Judd Trump has left Ali Carter, and it's not a gimme clearance by any stretch. We're going to see most of the shots played here. Lovely pink, screwing off the side cushion. These are tough. Judd Trump mentioned how tight the pockets are. He needed to be right side of the black, which he achieved, didn't he?
Yeah, and earlier he tried to shift the green one time and just got a double kiss on it. That was a cracking shot, spun up, trying to get top side of yellow, couldn't just manage it. And this green, we didn't think it would pass the blue here. Spins it in, deliberate shot to play for Brown into the same pocket, and he did the rest. It was a great riposte after losing the first frame. Now this cue ball here travels what? I'm guessing about between 25 and 30 feet, and it lands...
Give or take.
Yeah. It lands like a butterfly with sore feet on the red there, and Ali enjoyed that. So Judd here just pushing the boat out a little, maybe just a little bit of frustration. Something else, actually, the table is playing tight. But here's the Carter technique. Elbow, straight through, head in position. Everything in that line that I love when Carter plays. And but this was exceptional from Judd to retain his potting prowess in this last frame, considering what had gone before, was impressive, and just tells Ali Carter, look, you might be playing all right here, but I'm right on your coattails. Good stuff.
Yeah, awkward little shot with the spider. The last thing you want is to get a kick there, and the red just thuds into the side cushion. It was a good break because one or two times had some awkward shots. This was a clever way to play this, because if you try to play that slow for the black, it's a sticky little shot. You can decelerate. You know, the safe way of playing it, making sure you get the pot, is to stun the cue ball round the angles. But first century break of the final, and yeah, more like the Judd Trump we expect.
Yeah, that was one obvious moment from Judd. There were fleeting moments from Ali Carter. Obviously, that break after Judd missed that, or when the white went in off the red, was another example. So it's there. It's, I guess, releasing the pressure to play in the form that we know they can.
Yeah, just touching on the table again. We all kind of fancied Judd at the start, having seen 4 frames. What the table's quite tight, right? So the corner pockets are tight. What that does is it doesn't give you freedom to just sort of play willy-nilly and loose. You've got to be on the ball almost every shot because they are tight. And I think that helps Ali Carter. He's one of those very accurate type of players where Judd's more free-flowing. But Judd can't do that because of the way the table is. As I say, I think it suits Carter.
So it may sound a superfluous thing to say, Stephen, but basically, if you can control where the white goes, that's the key here. Who controls it best? I mean, it's as simple as that because of how tight the table's playing.
I always say that. That's the most important. That's an art in snooker, is controlling that cue ball. It's the most important ball on the table. And the tighter the table is, obviously you want to make the pot as easy as possible. So get that cue ball as tight as possible.
Indeed. Well, it's a big test for both players. We're going to take a break here.
Poised indeed. Both players can draw positives from what's already occurred.
Frame 5. Judd Trump to break.
Carter's clearance to snatch the second frame. That was the big plus for him. Trump's 4th century of the tournament to draw level at 2-2. The highlight for him. And Alan, it's always good to see a closely contested final. Nothing quite like it.
Yeah, we've had a bit of everything, haven't we? Those first 4 frames, thoroughly enjoyable. Five more frames to be played in this afternoon. I like that, playing an odd number, so we will have 2 players in the lead going into this evening's final session.
Yes, and if you really savour these lengthy matches, it'll be good news for you when I tell you that the final of the Tour Championship is going to be 3 sessions. 1 on Saturday night, 2 on Sunday, the best of 25 frames. A true test of the best.
was saying in the studio, the pockets probably tighter than what we would call standard, I guess. Going by the tables in the last 2 or 3 years, you see that red on the left, near the left side cushion. That's the reason why Ali Carter doesn't really fancy it. Yeah, a little shake of the head, looking at it. That's why he's playing the safety shot.
When Trump undertook his media commitments last night up in the press room, he actually said that he thought this was the tightest table he'd played on all season. They are uniform templates, we know that, but they do play differently from week to week. And this one doesn't give you anything.
Crunching long red.
One.
Amazing the amount of times you hit the middle of the leather with that type of shot. The cue ball finds its way back to onto the baulk cushion. I don't know if there's a lot of point in playing this unless he gets tight to the left half of the yellow. Yeah, you see, he's trying to cover the escape to the 2 reds down the bottom right there.
To the uninitiated, that might look a grievous error, but rolling in behind a ball colour, especially when there's nerve and tension in the arm, not easy to do. The balls are nicely spread here. The first mistake could be expensive.
One.
That wasn't a mistake. Cracked it into the pocket, the plant. Had to be made. Incorporated safety, and now he will nestle in behind the brown.
Ali Carter 1.
Over to you, Judd.
Yeah, he's going to go baulk, side, side and nestle. Yeah, the 2 reds nearest the right corner would be nice to nestle in behind them. If you don't get the pace right, you definitely leave one. So he's looking to try and find a path towards this one near the left corner. A lot of traffic in the way. I don't know where he plays that. He's now looking at that. Red's on the right side, but he will know. Pace has to be absolutely spot on. Hit and hope.
Stephen Maguire's theory vindicated. He does that all the time. I think sometimes you might as well just have a thrash, see what happens. That was very fortunate. Not just leaving nothing on, actually getting back into a really awkward position for his opponent. What a turnaround.
Ali Carter doesn't want to disturb anything over that left corner playing this, because he's got some cover the way they are. He's managed to not disturb them, but for the in-off, this is excellent. Very, very good shot, that. Classy.
Thicker than he would have wanted, hence the cue ball not reaching the baulk line and potential for Carter.
I think he's thinking about a speculative plant here. The cue power nice and deep on the cue ball will get the cue ball swinging round figure of 8. Yeah, good shot. Lots of value in it. Brown setting and yellow.
1.
Because of the close proximity to the bottom cushion of the yellow, he wanted some angle on the brown, and the last roll on the cue ball just gave him that.
Five. Six. Twelve.
Spending so long having a good look at this, it tells you that he obviously didn't have all of the pocket. The pink to corner, so he would only play it if he feels he can get right in behind it straight. He was so keen to get the cue ball as close as he could to the pink on the straight side. And that was played beautifully, actually. He can now play this off that right hand jaw, or right half of the pocket. You see it? And off the right jaw.
Using your terminology, Alan, the previous positional shot, he
90.
dropped it on the waistcoat button. Very good indeed. In pool, of course, they cheat the
20.
pockets all of the time because they're rather generous, to put it mildly. But in snooker, when you cheat a pocket, you need to be very accurate indeed.
$27. 28. 35. 36.
'He does play shots right-handed. Yeah, he's having a go at this, but he's got to put some work in the cue ball. At least the pot's quite straightforward. And there are 2 reds he can play on. Oh, that is superb.
39.
So after
40.
unexpected sortie up to the baulk end, he looks set fair here, Judd Trump. Take the lead once again. He led 1-0.
Now this is a little tricky. Okay, the red is quite close to a pocket, but this kind of shot can so easily be missed, normally by overcutting.
48.
Well done, Judd.
Yeah, just hampered here. Just adds to the stress level. No, that's a good shot. That was a good shot, but positionally, has it gone awry? He may get the red that's nearest the pocket.
55. 56.
Was the main thing, because as you can see,
63.
Trump is now 61 ahead, 59 on the table. 1 snooker needed by Carter if he gets the chance.
Judd Trump, 63.
Well, it's not a clean kill by Trump. The frame should be his, but there is just a lingering question mark.
Yeah, I feel a bit hard done by this frame. Remember that lash out at getting, just trusting to luck from Judd.
One.
No question mark now.
Eight.
Carter has conceded. He's leaving the arena temporarily. Judd Trump, for the first time since the first frame, is in front, this time at 3-2.
And this is the final frame.
A couple of frames, but early in the 5th, as Alan alluded to before we went to break, he did ride his luck somewhat, escaping that snooker and leaving nothing on.
coming round to look at this. I don't think the black goes to the same pocket, and if not, he's going to have to work the cue ball. The harder you hit this, the more adventurous you get in the positional side of it, the pot becomes more difficult. You see, he had to work the cue ball.
Trump bent down to look whether the pot was on. From his body language, I think it's yay. It is.
One.
On both of the occasions that Trump has beaten Carter in ranking events, it's been notable that he scored really heavily, and I think he needs to do that again today. He whitewashed Carter 5-0 in the third round of the 2016 German Masters.
6.
Scoring 440 points to Carter's 81. And played really nicely at times in winning 6-4 in the semi-final of the 2017 Players' Championship.
7.
If he establishes a flow, Alan, few can stop him.
14. 15.
Yeah, just purring along nicely. Last couple of frames, 113, a nice 63. Thing is, play against Judd Trump, you just feel like he's a steam train, just keeps coming at you,
22.
coming at you.
$23.
Just a mid-paced screw shot into the pack. Not anything too extravagant. You see it. Just trying to push 2 or 3 reds into the open. Now this will be awkward, at least in a left-hander.
30. Touching ball.
A tall, strapping lad. He'd reach it, but won't be getting on the black without cannoning it, I don't think. Don't take your eye off the pot.
31.
Actually did well. Well, the black obviously goes to right middle. You know what he's been like so far, potting awkward shots. Another one coming up here. It just depends whether he can get possession, but no.
Yellow ball.
Might as well push the yellow safe. It's only 31 the lead, but
Judd Trump,
might come
31.
in handy.
Every little helps. That's the point, and as he gets older, becomes more mature, that's what he's discovering, and that's why he's becoming so difficult to beat. He's always had the talent. Now he's got the application to complement it.
Deep drag in behind the blue. Not quite.
Thank you.
That's the entrancing thing about watching snooker at the highest level, the intensity, and that of course is cranked up several notches when you get to a final. You can feel the electricity out there.
Thank you, Judd.
Thinking about the deep screw. When you've not potted the ball in 19 minutes of playing time, difficult to get through the ball properly. Good cue ball. Needs the red to nestle tight on the cushion, and it just about has. That's not too bad, actually. Put everything he had, didn't he, into the getting the cue ball back up table. Now, just dropping the red in, it's going to be almost impossible to nestle in behind green or brown. Yellow's a possibility, but again, that would take now. If he's had a look at the yellow just yet, might not even be playing the pot, just knuckle this down table. Yeah, that's what he played.
Looks to the heavens. Anything but that.
One.
But for Carter, anything but that.
Yellow ball. Ali Carter 1.
I know what usually happens when you leave Judd Trump hand on the bed. It's happened again. Yeah, dispatched.
One.
The cue ball catching a slice of the far jaw there might not have been too bad, but he's okay on the green anyway. Started this visit with a 30-point lead. Really where they are, he should end the visit 4-2 in front.
Five. Twelve. Thirteen. 20. $21.
Looking for his 10th ranking title. 20th pro event win in total. And if he wins, his earnings for the season will exceed £500,000 for the first time.
28. $29.
The exchange rate doesn't quite work out, Alan, but give me some poetic license. He's playing like $1 million.
$34. 35. $40.
Let's have a look at this black here, the Judd
41.
Trump stance. We did a little piece on it the other day, didn't we? You'll see how wide it is. Well, black goes astray, but no matter.
41 and a frame.
Yes, with breaks of 31 and 41. For the first time, we have a two-frame gap in this World Grand Prix final, and it's in favour of Trump.
And this is the final frame. Trusted Trader, sponsoring...
Jumped in the air, didn't intend to make contact with the pink. It's worked out okay.
What did we say in the last frame? Hand on the bed. Is it going to be a similar result? Click, click, thud. A sweet sound for a snooker player, that. He's off and running again. He's on the charge now.
From distance, he had a 100% pot success rate
8.
against Mark Selby. That's unplayable. Today, not too bad at all. 9 out of 14 so far.
9. $16. $17.
3 reds, a third black coming up.
$24. $25. Two ball.
I was saying about the Trump stance. tail end of that last frame. We're going to see it here. Let's see if we can see now when he plays this black. You'll see how wide it is. And let's have a look at the left leg. It's just tilted towards the table. All the weight's going forward. Stand back. 1, 2, and then look at the left leg. And the wideness there. Fabulous. Almost braced for impact.
$32. 33.
Both of these two share a surname with US presidents. Now the table's looking like George Washington's
39.
cherry tree.
$46. 47.
I'll tell you what, Alan, when he plays like this, he gets my vote. Wow. So fluid.
$54.
Yeah, he's just moving, excuse me, just moving through the gears now, Judd Trump. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. A flaw.
Judd Trump, 54. One.
Yeah, here's that miss again. See, he had to. It was a little stroke shot, wasn't it? It wasn't like a forearm punch. More of a touch shot. Oh, Ali, he's not got through the ball there. He has not delivered the cue. He's been frozen out for so long, and I don't think that was a kick. I mean, Ali, he'll know better than I do, but
8.
here it is again. Possibly. But was that a symptom of just being frozen out? I would think so. See how desperate he'll be to get this cue ball on the baulk cushion.
Ali Carter,
Pressure
8.
on him every time he plays a safety shot, Ali Carter.
To make just 8 from that, he will be bitterly disappointed. Well, cover on the most dangerous red, but not on another.
1.
To pot a ball like that is a fine effort under any circumstances, but when you've just missed what he regards as an easy one, psychologically that's tough to do.
Three times since the mid-session interval, Carter's left him at distance, but hand on bed in balk.
Green ball.
And he's knocked in everything. Clever shot. He would have felt potting the green that it was not guaranteed position. I think he was just going to cannon the brown, so keeping the pressure on his opponent.
Yes, last night Trump said 2 or 3 years ago I wouldn't have won that match, talking about the Barry Hawkins semi-final. 2 or 3 years ago he might well have taken on the green. That's the difference.
Yeah, he's playing the table. The table's sort of almost telling him what shot to play. Because the reds are all in the open, you're guaranteed tuck in behind a tight brown, then do it. Wouldn't be surprised if Ali Carter came up short on this. Doesn't want to lose the cue ball. Yeah, you see, just a wee bit short.
Foul.
He can't lose the cue ball.
Shot trump 4.
Either level or top side of those reds. Going through the ringer. That's right now, Ali.
Foul and a miss. Shot trump 4.
Trump just craning over, taking a short look, but he knows full well that cue ball's going back.
Ali? Yeah. Foul and a miss. Shot trump 4.
Trump's lead expands to 59 points. The ace in the pack is holding all of the aces in this frame now.
Ali? Judd? Foul. Brown. Thank you. Foul and a miss. Shot trump 4.
Well, he called a foul on himself even before no contact was made on a red, unbelievably.
Back.
Didn't leave a red, so it's going back once more.
The brown moved.
I don't blame him, but Ali Carter's absolutely steaming in his chair there. He's just going through, as I say.
Towards.
That's Leo Scully and the marker for this match, providing visual assistance.
Okay. Thank you.
You're right about Carter steaming, but he's one of those players who, when he's angry, sometimes responds. He's fueled by it.
Two ball, more that way. That's about it.
Watching? Yeah?
Yeah. Foul and a miss. Shot trump 7.
I think this is going to go back again, isn't it? Blue and black. They've got to be put back as well as the cue ball this time. So Trump's lead is now 70 with 75 on the table.
Can you bring it up for the black? thought it was on its spot. Was it that low? Yeah. That red didn't go there? Yeah. It didn't? No. Is it okay? Yeah?
Yeah, that looks pretty good. 70 behind then, 75.
Ali?
Still
Judd?
on the table.
A deserved round of applause, and you never know how this frame could develop from here. The balls are nicely placed for a counter-attack. Now the man known for naughty snooker, being rather cheeky there, he turned to Ali and said he should have played that first time.
Value in taking this pot on. He's running into the other two reds. What he's thinking here is, how can I get another red safe? See, another red. Nothing near a cushion. Those two together helping Judd. No. At all costs, he can't shift those. No value in playing the pot. It isn't very often you score 78 points in a frame and lose it, but it is possible. Our own Neil Folds, he potted 10 reds, 10 blacks in a frame many years back and ended up losing the frame despite an 80 break. Sorry to open that wound, Neil. Similar to a shot Mark Selby played against Judd earlier this week. He caught the yellow, but at least he's got the cue ball tight to the cushion. But there might be value in playing it, but not with pace. Leave the cue ball anywhere near that right middle. There'll be nothing straightforward for Ali. If and when Judd was to miss the red, of course. Stuff this though, weighing it up, where's the value? That's what he's asking himself. He's shoving a red up top here, top side of the blue spot, that's all he's doing. What a good shot that is.
Clarity of thought under pressure, priceless.
Yeah, just value, that's all it is, that's all he's looking for. Play the scoreboard. I said before, a strange thing in this game, the table actually tells you what shot to play if you have a good look at it. And now push another 2 or 3 reds towards the ball end if he wishes. Yeah, this is just all or nothing now. Many times out of 10 would he pot this? I'd say about 2, maybe 3 at best. Yeah, that was tough.
One.
Frame under lock and key now, surely.
Six. 7.
This is the
13.
third frame over 20 minutes in the match, and the first the Trump has won. 54 break, laid the foundation.
15. 16.
Then patience helped him apply the finishing touch.
21. 22. 27.
'Of course, having reached 5, it's now guaranteed. The Trump will lead going into the evening session. This gap is ever widening. Carter should be worried. The reason, Judd Trump is superior to Carter also. High break 113, that's his 4th century of the tournament. His potting from distance, certainly since the interval, has been superb. And the total points are mounting up against Carter. So Alan, Carter 5-2 down. What does he do to get back into this?
Yeah, it's an uphill task, isn't it? 2 frames to go before the mid-session interval. Going to have to come up with something, Ali Carter, 'cause he's been frozen out the last 3 frames. As I said, he was kind of just uncomfortable last frame or 2.
Thank
Ali.
you. Frame 8.
He's kind of been
Ali Carter to
swamped
break.
since the interval.
Yes, as he was in the frame immediately before it. So over the course of the last 4 frames, Carter's aggregated 15 points.
I think years ago when you played Judd Trump, sometimes you could sit back and almost put your feet up and think, he's going to have a go at something rash in a minute. I'm not going to have to work for this, but you have to work your socks off against him these days. No freebies out there. Or he just keeps coming at you with the power of the scoring and the long game. I'll need to be thin. Oh, what a shot again.
1.
No control on the cue ball when you cut them that thin. Could have dropped a whole lot better.
Black ball.
Delighted to just knock the red in. Getting on a colour would have been a bonus the way he was playing it, but knock a pot like that, and
Just
it's
round for one.
not that you're disappointed to not get on a colour and get in score, and it's what you're denying your opponent. He's just denying Ali Carter table time. Every time he comes to the table, he's a reintroduction of that baulk cushion. These guys are good, every one of them, but the game's not easy when you're playing every shot from up the baulk end. That's good to see, keeping his discipline.
Well, Alan, that's a tactic that you adopted so effectively, winning the Masters and a couple of world ranking events, so many finals and semi-finals down the years. Just keep them tight, and when they give you a chance, make the most of it. Opponents, when they're up against you, quite often wore the carpet out at that end of the table.
And it's the level of stress that the player goes under. Every time Ali Carter comes to the table, he's got something, he's got a problem to find the answer to. Alright, this is not that difficult to get back into baulk, but it's another mistake. Constant pressure, and he's left the red, and the head drops. It's just weight of pressure, that's all it is. It just gnaws away at you, and eventually you fall into the trap.
One.
And there's no weakness from Trump when it comes to using the rest. That's 10 pots he's had with the rest so far today. 9 have been completed.
Six. Seven. Sure.
I was talking earlier about Trump's technique, the wide stance. He's going to need it here. This is going to be round the houses, full force. At least I think that's what he's going to play. For the red near the black spot. He's having a look. There's the white, stands braced for impact, and the cue ball starts spinning. Anything half ball or miss the red's okay. That's fine. Good shot.
12.
Well, I'm glad he's on the right side of the blue there, because we know these pockets are tight. That was tough at that pace.
$18. $19. Foul. Judd Trump, 19.
Well, he was fighting a losing battle in that break. Much earlier than that. Unlucky to knock the green, and of course he was, but it was such a high tariff shot to pop the black and gain position. It really was. And at least he's not left a free ball.
catch this somewhere around half ball, not thin. He needs to get the red off the 2 cushions and back into the open table. See that? Get the red away from the pocket. Get it back out of there. Good shot. Clever boy. First time in a little while, Ali Carter's had something to feel positive about. He deserves it. He's had not the best of running since the interval, just a couple of occasions, and he's earned his chance, has he? Yeah. So, first chance in quite some time then for the captain.
One.
This is where Ali Carter's got to use his experience. What you'll see here, the next few shots when he's walking around the table, he'll have try and have a little bounce about his walk, trying to encourage his body, his mind to feel positive again.
9.
See, walking briskly, walking positively. He knows a big couple of frames this. Every chance he could close to 5-4.
Well, he's pulled off a remarkable comeback against Trump in the past.
15.
Different stance of Carter, more compact, more all in a line.
16.
Uses the cue to get the cue power more than his lower body. The 2 reds go to left corner, do they?
Always been tenacious.
21.
And let's not forget he came back from 12-9 down to beat Trump 13-12 in the last 16 of the World Championship in 2012.
That's a bonus, that red not
22.
going in. He doesn't want to spin the cue ball below the blue here. Just leave it top side of the blue. It's fine. Okay, just hang off the pace. Little bounce about a foot into the table. And now we can work on the low angle.
27.
The black.
$28.
Not quite enough angle on it, so I'm just happy to play the red now. He'll come round now. Does this bottom one of the 3 past the right corner?
35.
Coming round now for a look. And under the circumstances, that was a gorgeous piece of cueing. Red obviously will pass, or will go. Beautiful.
$43.
It just goes to show how a little slice of fortune can suddenly shift things. The flute snooker, and he's capitalising.
44.
I think it looks to be all right now. What he wants to be is high on the red here. Just that if there's any doubt as to whether he can actually get the red, he can definitely get it from high. That's the easier way to pot this. See, deliberately trying to get the cue ball high on it. Well done. Then he's hitting past
51.
the offending red, if you like. 38 lead, red black.
$52.
Already his highest break of the match. How timely.
$59. $60. $67.
Of the last red needs blue, pink or black to stand any chance of making a century.
68.
A chance now to see the Ali Carter cue action. I just love this. 6 or 7
74.
little feathers, long backswing. As smooth as you like.
76.
Beautiful action he has.
Sure. Thank you. $79. $83. $88.
So many health problems have handicapped Carter in his career. Bouts with cancer. Overcame those. And so snooker, well, that's just secondary. He is a fighter. Make no mistake, he can get back into this. Trump's lead is trimmed to 5-3. Crucial of the match so far. 6-3 or 5-4. What a difference. What a difference.
No wonder Ali Carter looked concerned when the red popped its head out the top of the bunch there.
$5.
that shot,
6.
the way he's played it, tells us the red will go at the back of the cluster of reds. If it didn't, he would have screwed for the blue in the other pocket to get higher. Deep screw then.
11.
You would imagine that the pink will just release. Couple of chances here, not full bore power. See, it was controlled. That was a beautiful shot. The control was fabulous.
The way the cue ball checked off the side cushion and held an ideal
90.
angle on the black.
$20.
Yeah, I think he's going to play this in its merits here. Last frame of the session into the bunch, wants to win it in one fell swoop. And he goes. That'll do nicely. Talking about small margins in this game, going back to that shot by Ali Carter, and the red popped its head out the top of the cluster of reds, and this is the result.
26. $33. 34. $41. 42.
What a journey Trump has been on
47.
this week. First
48.
round, 3-0 up against Stuart Carrington. Pegged back to 3-3, playing badly. But he knocked in a yellow that was, for me, the shot of the championship. 1-4-3. And now he's looking very good indeed. Although that one might have gone astray
53.
slightly.
Yeah, even there, all right, he's dropped the wrong side of the blue. Even there, he didn't take the risk of dropping it dead weight for black. Made the pot easier by laying up for blue. The pink might be stopping him now going round the houses. Yeah, the pink's in his way. I think had the ability that Judd has, I'd be happy just with a cue ball 6 or 8 inches top side of blue for the red on the left. That would be the logical way out of this. Yeah. Is he forcing it? I suppose if anyone can, Judd Trump can in terms of power getting in and out of balk there, but you see what I mean?
59.
By just maybe stunning top side of the blue for the red and the left is an easier shot than the one he's faced with now. It's easy after the event. Big shot then.
What a perler that was. What a perler. Had there been a couple of reds safe, a couple of colours safe, the pressure would have been less intense, but everything was there. Cracking pot.
$65. $66.
Frame basically won. Now he wants to go to dinner with a century.
$73. $74.
Looking for his
81.
57th century of the season. No one's made more.
82.
It would be the 590th of his career. And he doesn't turn 30 till August.
89.
Yeah. We were chatting in the hotel last night after play myself.
90.
Stephen and Neil, and Stephen Hendry made a very good point. He said, the thing about Judd Trump these days, he looks like he's always going to play well in a final. He's taken Ronnie O'Sullivan out 4 or 5 times, isn't he, in finals. He looks super comfortable out there.
98.
And it's another facet of his game that he loves making centuries.
$107. $110. $114.
Carter with much to ponder. Oh!
119.
The cheers, the applause, said it all. That was wonderful from Judd Trump. A 132 total clearance. He's in command of this final. He leads Ali Carter 6-3.
And this is the final frame.
The first break of play, he scored a century. He's finished off the session with another century. Is that him setting his seal on this now?
He's looked all day the most, getting in the balls, the most likely to score heavy. He's just starting to pull away now. He's just starting to sort of stretch his legs and go, as Alan says, move through the gears.
Yeah. Neil, let's take a look at some of the best moments of the last 5 frames. And it was evident that Judd's century just before the break had given him that confidence.
Yeah, but also he got lucky because this was a hit and hope shot where literally sometimes you just play it to disturb the balls. You know, there is something in it, what you're doing. You don't know the balls are going to finish there. That was very lucky. This was a good plant though, Steve.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, going back to that lucky shot, I mean, if he leaves Ali Carter in, he goes 3-2 ahead, it could be a different score, you never know, but that's the way it goes. This was played right-handed. He doesn't play a lot of shots right-handed, not when, when the frame's still going. Normally he leaves them to the end, but perfect position here.
I think it might have been a difficult shot for him with the rest, reaching over and playing that right, as a right-hander with the rest. So almost like a blind spot for him, isn't it? Look, I mean, here you felt he got in first in this frame actually, and then he made that error. And all credit to Carter, he made an 88 break, and just to remind everyone that he's still in the match because it was a crucial frame to win, Stephen, wasn't it? To get back to 5-3 gave him some hope really, but it was extinguished in the frame 9.
Yeah, very quickly. Big frame, obviously, going into tonight. Judd Trump's 6-3 ahead. Ali Carter needs to win at least 7-2 at best. Can you see him doing that? To be honest, not really.
No, it's going to be hard to imagine it. I mean, as you said, Rishi, you know, frame 4, he made a century before the break, then he made one at the end of the session. He's finished the sessions really well. And this was a tremendous break. This was a good pot. The frame was still live.
Yeah, fabulous pot. He finished wrong side of the blue and struggled to get on that red, but an incredible pot for virtually frame ball. Up comes the second century of the afternoon.
He plays some shots on the colours, doesn't he? You know, he's a like Jimmy White style entertainer. He used to do that, didn't he? At the end of frames.
Just sort of sprinkles a bit of stardust at the end of the session.
And the crowd love it.
Yeah.
The crowd love it. So you're Ali Carter, and you're 6-3 down against Judd Trump. How do you get yourself back into it?
Well, he knows he's in it. I mean, Judd Trump's still got to win 4 frames. A long way to go. He needs to win. You know, with first 4 frames tonight, he's got to look at a target of possibly winning that 3-1 to get right back into the match.
Is it easy to stay calm in that sort of situation, Neil?
Well, he hasn't got to look too far ahead. He's just got to look at it frame by frame, shot by shot, you know. And, I mean, Judd Trump surrendered a 7-2 lead in the Shanghai Masters final one year to John Higgins and lost 10-9. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but it has happened from further behind. So it can be done, albeit he's going to have to play great snooker to do so, I think.
Yeah, I guess going back to what you said earlier in the day, Stephen, Judd Trump is comfortable, though, barring that, what you're saying about the 7-2 in Shanghai. He is comfortable in the final.
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, it's not been his best cue ball day. He's not had the cue ball an absolute string today. He's played 1 or 2 careless shots. He's not. He's had to rescue situations. He's missed a couple of balls. So Ali Carter could think, you know, maybe cling a little bit of hope to that. But he's got to score better. If we look at, he's had an 88 today, and that's it. He's got to score better when he gets his chances.
I think all in all, you know, if you're Judd Trump, it's a very satisfactory session to win 6 of the 9 frames. He was favourite before the start, and he's a bigger favourite to lift the title now, I think, you know.
He most certainly is. Let's just remind you that we are back on air at 6:45 p.m. tonight, ITV4, for the conclusion of this Coral World Grand Prix final. Judd Trump leading against Ali Carter. Stephen, Neil, thank you very much for the moment. It has been a wonderful session of snooker. Judd Trump can just about see the winning post here at Cheltenham, but do not count Ali Carter out just yet. He is still in this final. We'll see you a bit later. Bye-bye.